Hi, and welcome to the show. I'm Janet Zappala, and I'm thrilled to have Robert Landau here today. He is the author of this wonderful book, Rock and Roll Billboards of the Sunset Strip. And I'm telling you, this book is chock full of nostalgia, of memories, and a lot of eye candy. Welcome to the show, Robert.
Thank you, Janet.
What compelled you to decide to take pictures of these billboards that, of course, are no longer around, and now they'll be here in perpetuity because of you?
Well, you're right, because these would be up for about a month, and then they'd just paint them over because they needed the wood, and they'd paint a new message. My parents had just split up. I went to live with my father in an apartment right above Sunset Strip, and I was getting into photography. So when I wandered out onto the street with my camera, there was John Lennon, 14 feet high, walking across Abbey Road with the other Beatles, and I just was interested, just started shooting them.
The Beatles, Abbey Road, are on the cover. Why did you choose the Beatles?
Abbey Road went up in 1969. And at the time, there were rumors that Paul McCartney was dead. I'm sure a lot of people in my age group will remember that. They were all false, of course. But
obviously.
Yes, obviously false. But some kids took the notion to pull a prank, and they climbed up late one night. And as you can see on the cover there, the heads of the Beatles extended off the top of the billboard. They were hand-painted wooden extensions. And some kids climbed up there with a saw, and they cut Paul's head off.
Oh, my.
So.
Well, I say that, but I also know that you have a photograph of the person who actually did that, right?
That's true, yes. Well, first you see a photograph of the board without Paul's head, and then cut to 50 years later, the book's about to come out, and I decided, well, let's have a contest. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Paul's head. And I offered a free signed book to anyone who could produce the head. And the very next day, I got an email from the guy who, as a kid, took it. He's now in his 60s and has Paul's head hanging in his living room.
Wow.
He's out here in the San Fernando Valley.
Sean Cassidy, of course, you know, growing up, I was a huge fan of Sean Cassidy, and I love that poster. Again, I think anybody who grew up during that period of time will look and say, oh my goodness, that's what I did.
He's a very funny guy, and he was a kid growing up himself right around the Strip. He used to hang out there, and he had visions of being like a punk rocker. Of course, the record company got a hold of him and turned him into this heartthrob for young kids. But he had a very advanced sense of his own marketing, and he talked them into giving him this billboard, in which is called Under Wraps, and it depicts him wrapped in plastic. So he was sort of showing how this industry turns people into products. And I thought it was a very advanced concept. He was 18 years old at the time.
And by the way, you can get this book on our website, iboomer.com, and maybe if we're really nice to Robert, he might even autograph a few copies for us.
I can do that.
All right, Robert, thank you so very much.